you don't know who I am. Well, let's talk about some video games. So today, I really wanted to go over something that caught my attention in the recent Nintendo Direct. And that game they mentioned in the recent Nintendo Direct was Front Mission. They're bringing a remake of Front Mission 1 and 2 to the Switch, which is great news because Front Mission is a series that I fell in love with many years ago, which I'll tell you all about. But it's also one of those franchises that you just don't hear much from, and when you do get something from them, it's just, it's like having a sunny day after 9 months of rain. It's just a welcome. You just want it and you love it. So it was great to hear about this news of Front Mission 1 and 2 coming our way, because we've never received Front Mission 2 here in the West. So I'm very excited. So what I'd like to do today is talk to you about Front Mission, my thoughts, my feelings, how I got involved with this franchise, and how it was released here in our western side, here in the North America. So starting off first, remember we all have those times and memories of things that are just very, very eventful in our lives. And sometimes they're big, like a birth of a child, or getting your first puppy, or buying your first house. And other times it's a little bit smaller, like when your favorite sport team wins a sport award, or when you're, when you buy the used car you've been looking at for years. So, anyways, I go walk into the game store one day at the turn of the century. We'd all just lived past the giant crisis of Y2K. So the world was in complete celebration about being able to make it through into the year 2000. I was walking to the game store, looking around, and I look up on their monitor, which are always, showing some type of preview for upcoming games or whatnot. And this guy, right back here, Front Mission 3, is playing on that monitor. Instantly, of course, I fall in love because it's got giant robots, and it's got tanks, and it's what more do you want? I guess you could add some giant monsters in there too, and then it'd be all-encompassing of everything. But we love robots, love tanks, love giant robots and tanks. So Front Mission 3 grabbed my attention, and I had to get it. Went right up to the sales clerk, asked for it, and got it. And there it was, all mine. Front Mission 3 is an extraordinary game. This is a must-have if you've got a PS1 or a PS2 or a PS3 that's backward compatible to PS1. You need this. Front Mission 3 is an amazing turn-based strategy game. It's got great customization of your mechs, your Wanzers, however you want to call them. I call them mechs. Other people like to call them mecha, giant robots. They're Wanzers here in the Front Mission universe. But you get, of course, lots of melee weapons, all kinds of missiles, machine guns, a few laser deals, and then you get equipment to put into your mechs to make them maybe move faster, to hold more charges for movements and stuff. Your pilots learn skills. You also load up the mech with different abilities and skills. So as your pilot uses them, they get better and better at those skills, and then they activate at certain times. You can have then you can get your pilots working together to have chain actions and stuff. It's all wonderful, and it's turn-based, and it's great, and it's all full of that, what you come to know from the PlayStation era. The grays, the browns, the jaggies, but it's all 3D, and it's gritty, and it was just great. It really helped bring Front Mission alive to me back there on the PlayStation. Another great thing about the Front Mission 3 was the whole interface when you're between battles, between your missions. It was very, I don't know if I'd say forward-thinking, but it did a great job of really bringing you into their world and showing you that it was a living and breathing space that was happening while the game was taking place. One of the other great things was it has 2 separate stories that you get to, as you can go through. Each one is, I don't know, depending on how fast you go through it, 30 to 40 hours each. You can spend a lot of time with this game. But, it's the story branches very early on, so you don't have to worry about, if you go back in for a second time, You don't have to play for 10 or 15 hours to get to that branch. It's usually, I believe it was within the first or second hour, there's just one decision you just make, and that lets you decide if you go branch A or branch B. And you go and then just finish it out from there, just collecting Wanzers and outfitting everybody and giving them new skills and teaming them up, seeing what all the different chain abilities that they can combine together are during the missions and everything. It's wonderful. It's a blast. You need to get it. Like I said, if you have anything that can play PlayStation stuff. Which brings us to a few years later, around 2003 or 2004, we got, right there, Front Mission 4. Yay, hooray. Now, by this time, where I'm like, hey, Front Mission 3, one of my all-time favorites. Front Mission 4 turns out to be quite an amazing game in its own right. Just that ramps up everything from Front Mission 3 and just takes it to the next level that it needed to. But the only knock I have against Front Mission 4 is it does the same thing with the two stories, but instead of having a branch where you can choose to go down one or choose to go down the other story, they intertwine them together so that you do some missions here, then you do missions there, and you go back and forth. And I don't really like the way it flip-flops back and forth like that. But that doesn't, I mean, that's fine. That's just a little nitpicky thing. Other than that, this game is solid with introducing more skills, more linking abilities between your pilots, new Wanzers, new weapons for you to try out, bigger abilities, greater equipment, and of course, jumping from the PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2 graphics, things just look at an amazing more detail. You get not much more, but a bit more color to it. The maps are a little bit bigger, the animations are more, the melee combat is, feels a little bit more, you can definitely feel a metal on metal as they're smashing each other like that. And it's just like, it was a great continuation, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And now that I keep talking about these two, I may have to go back and replay them again because they are some of the best. Again, turn-based strategy, figure out what you got to do. You've got your action points, for movement and then for combat, and you just gotta, trudge through, beat up all the other enemy mechs and Wanzers that are coming through, shoot up all their tanks. It's all good. Good stuff. Look for it. Front Mission 3 and 4, definite must-haves. So that brings me to the point where as soon as I played Front Mission 3 and thoroughly enjoyed it, I went back to look for Front Mission 1 and 2, only to find out that Front Mission 1 and 2 never had a release here in the Western side. We were unfortunately left out in the dark on those. But then Grace was Front Mission 3 and then 4. Okay, hooray. That's great, but I would love to play the first two. That's why, the recent news is wonderful to hear. That's coming to the Switch. But before that, in 2007, Square finally brought over a remaster or a remake, probably a little bit of both, of the original Front Mission game for the DS. I believe this was originally a Super Famicom game. And so, I picked it up as soon as it hit the store shelves. And, it was a lot of fun to go back to the roots of this game and to just see where it all started from. And, look at that. Beautiful on the inside still. Awesome Final Fantasy style artwork there. Wonderful to get to see and to play from the beginning and at the early perspective of what the vision was from the creators and to see how it was, what it originally entailed. Now, of course, even more excited to get to play a remake of not just that, but then finally of Front Mission 2, which we never did get to see here. So 3 more years, I believe it was 3 or 4 years after, then we get Front Mission Evolved. This guy right here on the PS3, probably Xbox as well, but this is where things start to go off the rails. We're no longer turn-based strategy. We went in the direction of Armored Core. Those games are awesome in their own right, and those are great when I want my action-based mech games. But when I want my turn-based strategy mech games, I want Front Mission. And that's not what Evolved was. It was fine. I mean, of course, I played through it once or twice or something. I mean, just to give it a shot. The customization wasn't as highly detailed. Wouldn't call it Front Mission Evolved. I would definitely call it Front Mission Devolved. If you do find it cheap, pick it up if you're a fan of the series. If you are. I don't know too many people that are, other than myself. Which brings us to the most recent actual PS4 release for Front Mission. And this unfortunately follows along the Front Mission Evolved mindset, and it continues to evolve and push past what we had fallen in love with this franchise for. This last one is Left Alive. This has little to do with the Wanzers and the mechs. Like I said, it's based within the universe. It's more of some type of a tactical, or I don't know if I'd say tactical. It's more like a first-person shooter survival. I don't know. It's weird, like a Sam Fisher Metal Gear kind of thing, but of course nowhere at those levels. I guess it took the series and the franchise into a different direction. While I appreciate that, being able to see everything from a different view and in a different perspective, it wasn't what I was expecting. But then again, they didn't put the name Front Mission on it. They just kind of put that in the background and said, hey, here's where this setting is. So that, I mean, not to disparage it anymore, it's very rough around the edges. Definitely really only get that if you're diehard for everything Square Enix, or you are kind of like me, diehard for anything Front Mission. It's just, not the best. So this was just a wonderful overview of a franchise that I have had a lot of pleasure playing and has brought me a lot of joy throughout the years and all the playthroughs, whether it be from the Left Alive, different style of things, to the Evolved, where it's moving now too fast and it's all just pure action, down to the, hey, here's the original. Here's what we're still turn-based. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's some great sprites. Here's some great animations. Here's some really cool ideas of what's happening. To the fantastic Front Mission 4, which I guess, like what I said for Front Mission 3, if you have a PS2 or a PS3 that can still be backwards compatible to the 2, you need Front Mission 4 as well. To the ultimate Front Mission 3, so good. I bring this up, I wanted to tell you all about my love for Front Mission because of that news from Nintendo Direct about Front Mission 1 and 2, again, coming our way here in the West. And I am very excited, and I hope you guys are too. With all that said, we'll see you in the next video, and as always, game on.